December 6, 1941. Moscow, Soviet Union. German soldiers are freezing to death just 20 miles from the Kremlin. Their weapons won't fire. Their tanks won't start. 6 months earlier, Adolf Hitler commanded the most powerful war machine in human history. But on this frozen morning, everything changed, because Hitler had made the one decision that would cost him the war. A decision so catastrophic that historians still debate. How could someone so calculating make such a fatal mistake? Let's go back to June 1941. Hitler's Germany was unstoppable. In just 2 years, the Nazi war machine had conquered Poland in 28 days, Denmark in 6 hours, Norway in 2 months, France, the supposed military superpower. In just 6 weeks, Britain was hanging by a thread, being bombed night after night. Hitler controlled an empire stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the borders of the Soviet Union. But there was one enemy Hitler couldn't sleep at night thinking about: Joseph Stalin. Despite their non-aggression pact, basically a promise not to attack each other, Hitler was convinced Stalin was preparing to stab him in the back. So Hitler made a choice that would echo through history. I'll destroy the Soviet Union before they can destroy me. June 22nd, 1941, 3:15 a.m., Operation Barbarossa begins. 4 million Axis soldiers crash across a 2,000-mile front from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea. This wasn't just an invasion. This was the largest military operation in human history. The numbers were staggering: 3,800 tanks, 2,700 aircraft, 600,000 vehicles. And at first, it worked perfectly. Soviet forces were caught completely off guard. Entire armies were surrounded and captured. In the first 3 weeks alone, 600,000 Soviet prisoners, 11,000 tanks destroyed, 3,900 aircraft shot down. Hitler was ecstatic. He told his generals, "We have only to kick in the door and the whole rotten structure will come crashing down." Victory seemed inevitable. But Hitler was about to make the mistake that would change everything. Here's what nobody talks about in history class. Hitler's plan was actually brilliant. On paper, the German army was divided into 3 massive groups. Army Group North, capture Leningrad. Army Group Center, race to Moscow. Army Group South, seize Ukraine's resources. The strategy: hit fast, hit hard, win before winter. But then Hitler did something that still baffles military historians. He kept changing his mind. First, he wanted Moscow, the Soviet capital. Then he wanted Ukraine's oil and wheat. Then back to Moscow, then Leningrad. His generals were furious. They begged him to focus on Moscow, cut off the head of the Soviet snake. But Hitler wouldn't listen. This indecision cost him the most precious resource of all: time. While Hitler's army zigzagged across the Soviet Union, chasing multiple objectives, summer turned to autumn, autumn turned to winter, and the German army, designed for quick victories, was still hundreds of miles from victory. December 1941. The temperature drops to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. German soldiers are wearing summer uniforms. Their equipment is freezing solid. Tanks won't start. Rifles jam. But the Soviets, they're dressed for winter. Their weapons work in the cold. They know this terrain. And then Stalin does something brilliant. Instead of defending Moscow house by house, he lets the Germans get close. Really close. So close they can see the Kremlin's towers. And then, on December 6, 1941, the Soviets counterattack. 100 fresh divisions, troops Hitler didn't even know existed, come pouring out of the forests around Moscow. For the first time since the war began, the German army isn't advancing, it's running. In just 3 weeks, the Germans are pushed back over 150 miles. The myth of German invincibility dies in the Russian snow. Operation Barbarossa was supposed to last 6 weeks. Instead, it lasted 4 years and cost Germany 4 million soldiers, 75% of their tanks and aircraft, and something even more valuable: momentum. You see, Hitler's entire strategy depended on quick victories. The German economy couldn't sustain a long war, but by failing to capture Moscow quickly, Hitler turned World War II into exactly what Germany couldn't win: a war of attrition. From December 1941 onward, Germany was fighting a losing battle on multiple fronts. The Soviets in the east, the British and Americans in the west, partisans everywhere in between. Every day the war continued. Germany got weaker while its enemies got stronger. Historians often ask, when did Germany lose World War II? Was it D-Day, Stalingrad, the Battle of Britain? No. Germany lost World War II on December 6, 1941, the day their retreat from Moscow began. Everything after that was just inevitable. One decision, one moment of indecision that lasted too long, and the course of human history changed forever. Hitler's mistake wasn't just tactical, it was psychological. He believed his own propaganda. He thought the Soviet Union would collapse at the first push. But Stalin's Russia wasn't France. It wasn't Poland. It was a nation of 200 million people who had survived centuries of invasions, famines, and revolutions. The lesson? In war, as in life, timing is everything. You can have the best plan, the strongest army, the most advanced technology. But if you hesitate when you should act decisively, or if you spread yourself too thin chasing too many goals, history will remember you not for your strengths, but for the moment you let victory slip through your fingers. Operation Barbarossa, the invasion that was meant to win the war, but instead guaranteed Germany would lose it. What other decisions changed the course of World War II? The attack on Pearl Harbor that brought America into the war, Hitler's declaration of war on the United States, the failed invasion of Britain. Let me know in the comments which pivotal moment you want me to cover next. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history's biggest mistakes, subscribe. Because World War II was shaped by countless decisions that seemed small at the time, but changed everything.